I feel like my whole career, I've done the same thing in a way over and over again, which is try and take very seemingly boring policies and laws and bureaucratic situations and show how they play out in the lives of real individuals and families.
Yeah.
And so because of that, there were certain stories that have been secrets in my family for a really long time. Um, that I felt like I needed to tell because they showed the ripples of how government actions play out in my family. One of those is about that terrible pogrom that my great great grandfather, he ends up beating his wife. And
Yeah.
that is a very upsetting thing for many members of my family. And for some people, it's really upsetting that I wrote about in the book, even though I think it's not an uncommon kind of secret to have in a family.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think talking about it is actually, in a way, healing. It allows us all living today to have more compassion for ourselves with any kind of mishigas, which is a Jewish word for like craziness in our own families, to say this
Yeah.
isn't new. We're not bad and they used to be so good. Like we actually, this is just a normal human experience to have conflict in family, hopefully less domestic violence. But um and so we can forgive ourselves a little bit for that mess that instead of just like we only ever hear stories about our ancestors that they were so perfect and they always
Right.
looked so good in flattering clothing and in the photos. So
But I guess part of it too though is that it's like it's it's trauma induced in his case. Like he was beaten, as you say, almost to death. That's the cause of it. It's not that he was a bad person or, made bad
right.
decisions. Like there was something external happening there. And I feel like that was an important piece. Like when you talk about the decision to tell that
Yeah.
story, like
Yeah.
that's worth acknowledging, I think.
It's totally, I agree. Another story I tell, not to scoop my book, is my family gets to be, they get big in bootlegging because
Yeah.
they had been saloon owners. And what I learned, which was so surprising that I never knew, was that part of why prohibition, the law banning the sale of liquor in America, was an anti-immigrant effort. There was this sense that all these people from Eastern Europe and Ireland and Italy have come to America. Many of these immigrants had worked in the liquor industry in the past, including my great grandfather.
Yeah.
And this was an industry they knew. And the thought was, well, Henry Ford was pushing for this. Like, if we can get rid of these jobs, they'll go back. And of
Yeah.
course, my family was not going to go back to Russia,
Right.
where it was very
Yeah.
unsafe. And so they end up bootlegging and making a lot of money actually, and then getting in trouble. And that was very shameful. And I get into this on the page in the book, but an indigenous judge, when I was grappling with what to do as family members are saying, don't write about this. She
Yeah.
said, if you keep family secrets like this secret, you're not only keeping your family, you know, you're not only getting your own family off the hook, you're taking the systems that made that best option for your ancestors for their best jobs that they could get, that system that was so anti-Semitic, you're also taking that whole system off the hook.
Yeah.
And that that really made a big impression on me, that statement.